You know that feeling where you genuinely want to do something, like you know you should be working on something and you can literally see it in your head and you're excited to do it even. But when it's time to actually sit down and do it, nothing comes out. You just can't start and then you end up scrolling your phone for 45 minutes and hating yourself for it. I need you to know that that's not laziness. That's a dopamine timing glitch. And once you understand what is actually happening in your brain, it becomes so much easier to fix. So most people think that dopamine is the feel-good chemical. You do something fun, your brain goes yay, dopamine, and you feel great afterwards. But that's actually not necessarily how it works. Neuroscientist Robert Sapolsky did this really famous experiment with monkeys. He set up a system where a light would go on, the monkey would press a lever, and it would get food. And what they found was that the biggest spike in dopamine didn't actually happen when the monkey got the food. It happened before, when the light went on, when the monkey anticipated getting the food. So dopamine is actually not the reward chemical. It's the anticipation chemical. It's what makes you want to do something. It's the thing that gets you off the couch and moving towards a goal. The motivation to start. And that's where the glitch comes in. Here's what's happening to most of us every single day. You wake up and before you've even gotten out of bed, you've already checked your phone, Instagram, TikTok, emails, anything. And every single one of those little scrolls, every notification, every new post is giving your brain a tiny hit of dopamine. It doesn't take any effort on your part, but you are getting that dopamine hit. Then after that, you maybe grab a snack, watch something while you eat, check your phone again. That's more dopamine, still no effort. And by the time you're actually sitting down to work on the thing that matters to you, whether that's your business, your side project, studying, whatever it is, your brain has already been flooded with easy dopamine shots all morning. And now your brain is looking at this task that's hard, that won't give you a reward for hours or maybe weeks or even months, and it's comparing that to what it's been getting all day. Easy dopamine, instant, no effort. So why would it then go and choose the hard thing? It's not actually that you don't want to do the work. It's that your brain has already spent all its motivation currency on things that didn't really matter. And you're probably doing it right now. You might be watching this video right now instead of doing a thing that you're supposed to be doing. I see you and it's fine. But let's actually fix this so that you can go do it afterwards. So here's what actually works. And I'm not going to give you some grand restructure your entire life advice because that's not helpful. There are small things that make a real difference that you can implement. One is protect your morning dopamine. This is the biggest one. The first 60 to 90 minutes of your day basically set the tone for your brain's motivation level for the rest of the day. If you spend the time scrolling, you've already trained your brain that dopamine comes easy today. So don't check your phone first thing. I know that sounds annoying and it's something that you've probably heard a billion times before, but the reason it is so important is literally neurochemical. When you delay that easy dopamine, your brain is forced to generate motivation from within instead of getting it handed to it by an app. So use that first window to do the hard thing, the thing that you've been avoiding. Your brain hasn't been flooded yet, so it actually has the capacity to focus. 2 is make the start stupidly small. Your brain resists big tasks because the reward feels too far away. So you have to trick it. Don't tell yourself, I'm going to work on my business plan for 3 hours. Tell yourself, I'm going to open a document and that's it. I'm just going to open it. What happens is that the act of starting generates its own dopamine. So once you're in it, your brain starts to anticipate the small wins along the way, like finishing a paragraph, figuring out a problem, or making progress in general. And that anticipation keeps you going. But you have to get past the starting line first. And the only way you do that is to make it so small that your brain doesn't resist it. Your phone is not just a distraction. It is a competing dopamine source, and it will always win against your work because it is designed to. Literally billions of dollars have been spent making sure that scrolling is the easiest dopamine hit available to you. So when it's time to work, put your phone in a different room, not on silent on your desk. In a different room is what you need to do. So it needs to be out of sight because when it's within reach, your brain knows that it's there and it's constantly comparing the easy dopamine of picking it up versus the hard dopamine of doing your work. So remember that dopamine is about anticipation. So you need to give your brain something to anticipate. Break your work into smaller chunks chunks and give yourself a small reward after each one. When you finish this section, you can make a coffee. When you write 500 words, take a 10-minute break. Send that email, then go for a walk. And what really helps with this is also to-do lists, because just checking off that check mark of having this task done is what gives you the dopamine boost. However, you do need to plan in a way where you are actually listing all the small steps that make up a big task, because otherwise you're just waiting hours for you to be able to tick off that to do. Basically, what you're doing is creating mini dopamine cycles within the task itself so that your brain can stay engaged instead of looking for dopamine somewhere. I need you to remember that the reason you can't start is not because you're lazy or undisciplined. It's because your brain is running on a reward system that was designed for a world where dopamine was hard to come by. And now that we live in a world where it's everywhere all the time for free, your brain hasn't caught up to that yet. But now that you know this, you can work with your brain instead of against it. So protect your morning, start small, remove the competition, and build in rewards along the way. Now close this video and go do the thing. Seriously, go.